Hello.
Hi, everyone.
I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
So you guys know if you're following, I put up my two very first podcasts,
Okay.
and guess what I said on one? I don't know if I said it on both. I know I said it on one.
What?
Here we are. We are here. Is that weird?
That is very weird.
Like,
Because we
it's a
were
thing.
just talking about no matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
And so if you're running from something or trying to change something, changing where you are isn't going to do it.
Isn't going to change who you are.
Right.
And that's just like that. Like before I started yoga and other shit, and I was still just doing Rebel Lotus, I was saying, here we are here, because that's who I am, and that's what I say, I guess.
That's what you say.
So,
well, and it's such a big, at least for me, it's such a big piece of the yogic journey, right? Because the purpose of practice is to burn through your samskara or your patterns.
yeah,
To be aware of the patterns, to figure out what's no longer serving you, right? And that is it, right? No matter where I go, if I just take my same old patterns with me, I'm going to have the same kind of drama that I have.
Yes. Uh-oh. We have a guest coming, but here's another guest. And
don't tell her that. That'll hurt her.
No, I won't. But if she goes inside, I'm totally closing the door behind her.
She's not going inside.
No, she's like, I know your trickery.
All right. Do you have a joke?
I do. I have a joke. Of course, it's silly. It's a silly.
Mine's silly too.
Silly joke. Okay.
And we can't help but giggle.
Of course, and I got it from Instagram, so you may have already seen it. Bigfoot is sometimes confused with Sasquatch. Yeti never complains.
Where do pirates get their hooks?
Where?
Secondhand stores.
Well, so Joey's coming on. I just saw his awesome email. Now I Live Right Coaching. His last name is Wright, spelled with a W, and so on there it says Live Right with the W Coaching. I think that's brilliant.
So tell us about Joey, how you met him, why he's interesting.
Well, he apparently, so I don't know a ton about him. I just I'm a stalker, as you guys know. So I've met him in passing several times. He's like my friend Stella, who I describe as a warm hug. He is like a warm hug, and I don't even know him that well. And when I have briefly talked to him, he is just so comforting and approachable, I guess, in a you've known him forever type of way. Allows you, I feel like, to come with whatever you're coming with, be who you are, and I don't know. He always is smiling as far as I've ever seen. But he's a yoga teacher. He does life coaching. He does breath work coaching. Kind of, well, when I say it's wellness coaching, I guess. So you've got your yoga, your strength training, and your diet, your nutrition, and he kind of incorporates all that, and I think he does mindset stuff too. But the stuff I want to talk about is his yoga journey, and that he was in the play Beauty and the Beast, which I think I've told you guys a million times already on Instagram, because I've been so excited that he was so good. And I think he's been in plays before. I don't know if he's had that big of a lead role in that big of a play, like a community play like that. So these are questions I want to ask. But yeah, he's a great person if you're looking for that unique yoga class, or some training, strength training, help with getting your food stuff situated. He'll help you with that, and breath work. So breath work specifically for singing, I know I've read he does that, but also breath work in general is so important. And yeah, he does that. And Insight Timer. If you're on Insight Timer or you have Insight Timer, he has a lot of meditations on there. So I think Nidra, sleep meditations, I think I saw on there. I tried to go and scroll down and look to see, but we'll ask him when he comes.
I want to ask him more about the breath work. I'm not a singer. I don't have a voice for singing, but I do a lot of presentations and public speaking for work. And I always struggle with, when do I breathe? How do I breathe? How do I make sure I have enough air to say this whole sentence? Like,
oh yeah. I don't do that. Thank the Lord. But yeah, that's very important. And I'm sure to have the endurance to get through it, if it's for a long period of time.
Yep. All of it, right? How do you manage your nerves so that you can get your point across? Like all of those pieces. And yeah, there's some really good voice coaches I've seen online, but now I'm excited. Like there's a real life person that lives near us that might have this knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. We will find out. And I have to text him in 1 minute to see if he got my email.
Okay. So I have a teenage driver who is newly driving without me in the vehicle. And I've got the text saying that I'm getting in the car, heading home. So now we can all stress together until I get the text that says, I am home safely.
Now you better tell us when you get it.
I will, the minute that,
because that'll be scary. I know I do that even with my younger son's going to be 23 and driving from here back to college. And I'm like, make sure you text me. And of course they forget. And so then I'm like texting him and his girlfriend, like, hello, can somebody tell me if you made it? But usually,
so far so good.
Yeah, exactly. I talked to him today, so I know he made it. And then my other one, my older one, he doesn't go too far. So hopefully if he ever has, God forbid, something, it's not a high speed something.
This parenting adults or teenagers on the verge of being adults is not for the faint of heart. Like I thought the young years of parenting were hard, but this learning how to be a parent of an adult is a complete mind shift.
Yeah. And I don't know when it stops. My older son's going to be 27 and I still just worry about him and, in his day-to-day life and what's going on. And I'm like, ooh, I hope that works out okay, or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, does he need me? Do I call him? Would that be too mommy? If I, he's like, I'm an adult mom. Come on. But
there's a Instagram reel that my family has circulated, and it says like, when my adult child says he needs me, and it's Linda Carter, and she does the tour and she turns into Wonder Woman.
I love that.
And the kid sent it to me. Like, did you? But I don't know that it ever goes away. Like, have you heard that quote about?
Put that on you.
Put it on my person. That quote about being a parent is learning how to walk around the world with your heart outside of your body. And I feel like that's so true, because it is like everything that's dear to me is no longer in my house that I can take care of. It's out in the world, and I just have to be here as a support person.
Yeah.
I'm a coach now. So
let me get into that. Oh, yeah. And even though you're the coach now, you're still...
Hi.
Hey, can you hear us? Just kidding.
Hi. I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. I love your shirt.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I was feeling very on brand today.
I have an intruder. I'm just going to put her inside.
Okay.
This is Elizabeth.
Hi.
I think we met at Pam's house for New Year's.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. So great to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Oh,
and I've heard all about production of Beauty and the Beast. So I'm excited to hear more about that from you.
It was wonderful, if I do say so myself. I'm still like reeling from it. It was such a good time.
That's
I
awesome.
bet. How long was the performance?
Yeah.
Like how many, was it 1 week or?
We only ran for 2 weekends. We had 9 shows total. It's wild because, you do like 2.5 months of work and then you get 2 weekends to show it to people. And I'm like, wow, that
Went by so fast.
like it's like you blink and it's gone. You blink and it's gone. It's crazy. But it's fun, like we have all of these really awesome memories that you make really fast friends. Do it.
Oh, I said, do you still sing all the songs like as you're doing stuff?
Washing the dishes, singing Beauty and the Beast songs.
I thought I would. I thought I would, but I got so sick at the end of the run. That like physically, like I had a horrible cold. And so I'm finally getting over that. And now it's like business as usual. And I am actually totally fine if I don't sing it for, give it about a month. Yeah. So,
oh my God.
and then I'll be back
What's
to
next?
it. I'll be right back to it.
Do you have another production that you have your eye on, or anything you're auditioning
So
for?
I do have my eyes on an audition. It's my first professional audition. So I'm going to audition for Frozen for the City Springs Theater down in Sandy Springs.
Oh my God. All right, so we'll keep up with Pam and find out.
I'm so nervous. Yes.
Oh.
Pam doesn't actually know yet.
You'll be.
Pam doesn't know yet about that.
I know first.
But I'll let
I
her
won't
know.
tell her.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We'll
Okay.
let you that.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah, I
you
gotta break the ice to her.
have it? Do you have a silly joke you want to start? I forgot to ask you that at the beginning.
Oh my God! Oh, the dad joke. Oh, the dad joke. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I can't think of one right now. Oh my gosh.
That's okay. We'll come back.
You tell me one.
No pressure. I don't want to.
Okay.
We'll start with I got to get my questions out that I sent you. All right. Let's go. Here we go. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? This is how organized I am. This is every time. We have bloopers even.
I love it.
Okay. So how
perfect.
long have you been teaching yoga, and like how did you get into it? How did you first get introduced to yoga? And then how did you become a teacher? Blah, blah, blah.
Your yoga story.
Yeah, your yoga story.
Yeah. My yoga story. My yoga story actually started in theater. So it's perfect that it runs that way. But we used sun salutations to warm up for rehearsals and then for shows. And so I just remember I was doing a community show. I was doing a Midsummer Night's Dream, and we were doing all these sun salutations, and I was like, what are these guys doing on the ground? And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And it felt good. I was in high school, by the way. I was 15 years old in high school. And so that was really like my gateway into yoga, was like, oh, it's a good way to warm up your body. And then that progressed through college. I just kept up with like a home practice. My practice is entirely built in my bedroom. I didn't step into a yoga studio until I had already signed up for yoga teacher training. So I built my practice at home. It was like, yoga was something that like I would do for a while and then take a break and then come back to it and then do it a little bit more and then come back to it. And that like, eventually it just became like my best friend. You know, they say like your mat is like your best friend and it's always there to welcome you back. That really was so true in this instance. And it became like a really close friend that I could lean on when I was in a really rough relationship. learning how to like be okay being on my own. Um, and yeah, that's my practice in itself. And then teaching, my granny died in at the end of 2017. Um, and one of my friends, who's actually my partner at the time, had gotten me this book, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Um, and I was reading through that. And when she died, I was on the chapter of just say yes and watch what happens. Um, and it was like basically manifesting, right? Um, and so it was, I was just racking my brain thinking like, okay, what can I do? What can I say yes to? What is my thing? And I was like, I, I could be a yoga teacher, I guess. Um, and so I said yes to it. I said yes to it. And I started calling or emailing different studios and doing some research on yoga teacher trainings. And I landed on Breathe Yoga. It was close to my house. I had a connection with it because my brother had done yoga. He was in football and he had done yoga with Lauren. And I reached out to her. It turns out she hadn't, I was like, I'll make it up. Like she was like 3 months out according to the website. Um, and I was like, I'll make up whatever I missed. And she was like, well, we actually haven't started yet. I didn't think I was going to do it this go around, but I think that your email is kind of like the kick that I needed to say, yeah, we're doing it this year. So like, it really was crazy how like all of these factors kind of came to play and worked in my favor. Um, and so, yeah, if you need anything on manifesting, it works.
So,
Yeah.
How many people were in your teacher training? Like how many
It was
students?
small. We only had 5.
okay.
Yeah.
It's nice when it's a little group.
Yeah.
You build
Oh,
really
it's-
close relations.
We got, yeah, one of them, she's my acro partner. Like we work out together. She texted me yesterday. She was like, what's your workout plan for the week? Because we'll kind of try to match up our yoga and workout practices.
Do you have a group of
Um,
acro yogis that get together?
No, she and I we just find stuff online and we practice out on the turf. And we're just like, I hope this works. I hope we don't die.
Oh my God.
You need to be
We've
filming.
actually, right? We do. We film a lot of it. And we've actually been talking about finding like a group of acro yogis, but everyone's down in Atlanta. We haven't found anybody local to here. If you guys know
I
anybody,
was looking a couple years ago, and all I could find was like Atlanta proper, and it's just too
yeah,
far to drive.
it's too far. And it's like right now is when they're meeting, and I'm like, it would take like an hour and a half to get there right now with Atlanta traffic. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That sounds fun though. I took a acro class at Dirty South Yoga one year.
Yeah.
And we had to borrow
Nice.
some lady's husband. We're like, excuse me, can we borrow him for a second? Because
You look like a strong base.
we couldn't do it.
Nice.
We tried,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
he had done a little bit before, so he kind of knew a little bit of it. Where we were
Yeah.
going and totally like, are you sure we're supposed to put our head down there?
There?
It does get very intimate.
Yeah. I came across videos the other day and I'm like, oh my God, my friend, I have the videos like right in front of her face and she's in tabletop and she's like, what? My butt? My butt? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm totally putting that on Facebook.
Oh no.
So
Oh no.
we laughed. But anyway, so that is a great story. And you're still with Lauren working.
I am.
And now
Yes. I am going
now
into
it's
my
moved.
6th year. I'm going into my 6th year teaching. It is now Move and Breathe. We have joined. So Lauren and her husband John Lauren had Breathe Yoga Atlanta. John had I can't remember what he called it, but it was his personal training business basically. And both of the leases kind of ended at the same time. And they were like, we should combine this, because we had already, through the pandemic, we had already started doing virtual workouts with people.
Yeah.
And trying to get them to understand, like, yoga is fantastic. Yoga is an amazing practice. You get really stretchy. You don't get super strong in the sense that there's not much pulling in yoga. So biceps, lats, hamstrings get really long in yoga, but they don't get super strong in yoga.
Yeah.
And so it was a way of incorporating or showing people that you can find balance in that movement practice. And you don't have to be a total meathead to go work out in the gym. And you also don't have to be a super flexible human to go practice yoga.
It goes together very nice. And you
It
guys really
does.
started something, because, I mean, I don't know of any other studios doing that yet, but definitely there's talk of that right now. And we actually started,
Nice.
she started training with me because I have my personal training certification too.
Nice.
So we have our little garage gym behind me.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's coming more into the light now. It's being more researched that, like, as you age, you lose bone density, and strength training helps with that, very much so. Yeah. But then also, when you're stressing your body out, you're putting yourself in. Am I doing that? Am I doing?
It does it on its own. It's AI.
Oh, so fun. So when you're stressing your body out, even though it's eustress, it's good stress, you're still in a state of fight or flight. And so yoga helps you to downregulate. And so you get that really good balance between those two things. And so I think a lot more people are learning that that's necessary. You don't have to go to the gym 5 days a week. That's crazy.
Well, we talk about it in terms of functional mobility as you age,
Yeah.
right? As a 50-year-old woman, I'm very concerned about making sure that I can move and will be able to continue to move in the 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
And that starts with what we do today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's funny. That's actually my answer to my one thing that I would like take away, is mobility. Like, the one thing that I would do every single day, that's like my non-negotiable, is mobility.
Yeah, I think that, and that is now, that's the new, like, up and coming. You've probably been like on that train for a while, but it's just now coming around. Like, people are not everyone, but finally starting to come around to this. When, if you've done weights or yoga, if you're doing the same, like Ashtanga, same practice, you can be bendy, flexy in certain areas, but mobility isn't necessarily getting factored into that either.
Right. And I've actually heard stories of people that are practicing Ashtanga that are overstretching themselves, that are injuring their hamstrings because their hamstrings just aren't strong enough to withstand that amount of stretch and that amount of tension.
Yes. Very much so.
Right.
I wanted to, can you tell I'm trying to get to the trivia?
The trivia.
You're excited about the
trivia. The other question, so we asked you about your yoga story and all that. So, and then you said that you got into yoga from performing. So you started doing that kind of stuff in high school then, or earlier?
Yes. So, I moved from Florida. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, at the beaches.
Nice.
And my introduction to theater was through my granny, who took me to see Phantom of the Opera when I was in 4th or 5th grade.
Nice.
It terrified me, but I also fell in love with it. And I have been obsessed with the music from Phantom of the Opera. I got the piano books. I learned how to play everything on piano. And then, I would work my way through other musicals. And then we moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I took a theater class in 8th grade. Or drama. It wasn't theater because we performed in the classroom. And the stage was in the cafeteria, right? As all middle schools are, right? So I got into drama that way. I was terrible at it. I was awful. But it was so much fun. It was like playtime, honestly. And then I continued theater through high school. When I was a sophomore, we moved here to Forsyth County. And I kept doing theater, but I started doing community theater. I didn't really get cast in the shows at the school. And so I found a community outside that did Shakespeare, and I joined Shakespeare Studio, and I did Romeo and Juliet and Julius Caesar and Othello. And we started Winter's Tale back when Snowpocalypse happened. But that got canceled because of Snowpocalypse. I did A Midsummer Night's Dream twice.
Wow.
And then that theater also did like Alice in Wonderland, Sleepy Hollow, Alice in Wonderland again. So I had a lot of fun with Shakespeare and traditional texts. And then I took a break. After my second go round in Midsummer Night's Dream, I was a freshman in college and I said, this is taking way too much time. And I took a break, and then I got back into it last year when a friend of mine said, you should audition for another show. I think it would be fun. And I was like, I don't know about that. But then I thought about it some more, and I was like, I've never done a musical. I've done Shakespeare, and I've done all these other shows, but I've never done a musical before. So why don't I try singing in front of people? Never done that. And so I did, and I got in. I was like, oh, I can do this. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Yeah.
And singing with a French accent.
And singing with a French accent. That is, well, I mean, I feel like we can all comfortably say we've known Be Our Guest for the better part of 30 years. So I think we're all pretty solid at singing Be Our Guest with a French accent, right?
I don't know.
I've never sung it with a French accent.
I was like, does
I do.
no, stop.
Un peu. Je parle un peu de français. Oui.
Well, it was very impressive. I have to
Thank
say.
you. Thank you.
Teenage driver update. He is home safely.
Woo!
Woo.
We had a conversation about always worrying about our kids.
Yeah.
Mine are, 27 and 23, and I'm like, oh my God, are they okay? Yeah.
Just get Live 360.
But anyway,
it'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
And
sure.
hope that they text.
Mostly, it's very sporadic, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, yours is good. Your son texts you. Your young one.
Yeah, but he isn't in the 20s yet. So.
Oh, right.
Things could change.
That could. All right. So the question. All right. So you answered where you're from. That worked out. I love how you just matched that right in. Professional.
Give it all to you.
All right. So Insight Timer.
Yeah.
How did you? You have a bunch of stuff on there. So
I do.
How'd that come about?
Yeah. Did you just like you had been doing classes? I'm teaching meditation and nidra.
Definitely. I got my certification in meditation coaching 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. And then I did 2 breathwork trainings. So I did a 20-hour breathwork training right around the same time as the meditation training. And then I did another one that was like transformative power of breathwork.
Okay.
it was very interesting, but that was all focused on just slow, controlled breathing. And I think what I got the most from that, especially as it relates to my current physical practice, is how to regulate the nervous system quickly and efficiently. And so and then I had always heard, like, everyone was always like, Joey, your voice is so soothing when you teach. You should do meditations and recordings. And I was like, I don't know about that, but I'll try it. Sure. So I started recording, some meditation, some breath work, and I was really consistent with it for a while, and I had like a whole plan. And that kind of fell by the wayside. And then when I was doing Tuck Everlasting in the spring, my music director came up to me and she was like, would you do breath work for the cast? And I was like, yeah, why not? And I didn't really think much of it. And so like me, I like to be as prepared as possible. And so I wanted everything to make sense. And I also want it to be perfect. And so I spent like a week stressing and trying to figure out like, okay, what are we going to do? What techniques are we going to use? And so I was like listening to all of these different breathwork practices, trying to get some ideas and figure it out. And then I got brought back to this just, are we upregulating? Are we downregulating? And when it comes to performing, you need a little bit of both. Your diaphragm is a muscle, your muscle for respiration, and it needs to be warmed up just like every other muscle that you have. And so we need a little bit of upregulating for that. So some inhales with a breath hold and then a little exhale. And then same thing when you need to ground yourself, you need to stay present in the moment as you're doing a scene, or as you're singing a song. And so a little bit of down regulating. So I incorporated some box breathing, some extended exhales, some extended inhales, and I just started like piecing together these different techniques. And then I realized that like it was really helpful for everybody. Like the feedback that I got from the entire cast was like, oh my God, can you do this all the time? Can you call me and lead me through this, please? And so, yeah, that's kind of how I got into, like, it kind of brought me back into the whole thing.
And now you do, like, people can call you and be like, hey, can I get some sessions of breath work? I mean, for singing.
I mean, I guess I've never done like a private for breath work. I usually just incorporate it into a yoga practice. But so like, but you know,
on Insight Timer.
How what?
How would our listeners find you on Insight Timer?
You can search my name, Joey Wright, and I should pop up. I think there's a picture of me holding a pumpkin and a medicine ball, and I'm really sweaty and disgusting.
I don't think I noticed.
What?
Because when I had searched you on there, I didn't notice that at all. It just looked like a picture of you.
Oh, thanks. I think I
sweaty.
Yeah, I think I'm holding a pumpkin. It was a picture that we took for our Halloween workout.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they could find. So yeah, Joey Wright on Insight Timer, and hopefully there's only one, but there might be more. I don't know.
So for presentations,
yeah, we were talking earlier about breath coaching, and I was like, I'm not a singer, but for my job, I have to present. I have to talk in front of rooms full of people. And sometimes I find that it's hard to figure out where to breathe and how to deliver the presentation without the audible breath noise. So is that something you coach people on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, really what that comes down to is you're in a state of fight or flight when you're trying to present because it's stressful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you can ground yourself before that, and bring yourself down just a little bit. This is what I would do before I would go on stage is I would stand or sit if I had the ability to sit, which was very rare. But I would stand, close my eyes, breathe, feel my breath in my body, and then feel my feet on the ground. Like the basics of just a general meditation. But then also when we get stressed out and when we're standing up, we tighten up everything around our core. Everything gets tense and we're always worried about how we look and we always want to look sucked in and tucked in and cutesy. And that's going to prevent your ability to breathe well when you're doing a presentation or when you're performing in any way. And so always reminding yourself, like, it's okay to relax a little bit. It's okay to relax.
That's great advice. I'm definitely a bracer.
We all are. We train in America. We train ourselves to suck it in all the time. All the time. Yeah.
And whenever I'm nervous, I was just doing, and I'm not nervous, but I guess I'm like ready.
Well, there's an
like,
innate stress of just being on camera. So
Yeah.
you may not be
Yes.
thinking
Always.
about it, but the fact that we're on camera is making us all perform a little.
yes,
We are all in
that is
fight or
true.
flight, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I talked to my team about it in terms of Zoom fatigue, right? We're in video meetings all day long. And then people are like, why am I so exhausted? It's because like you've been on all day long.
I hear it. My
Yeah.
my acro partner, she's got her full-time job as she does marketing, but she takes calls all day, and we'll do a workout, and she's like, "Ugh, now I have to go make myself look presentable," and I'm like, "You're on Zoom. Can't they only see like 10% of you? Like, you're fine. You are fine."
Moving.
Maybe it's different. I'm not in the corporate world, so what do I know?
No, I think part of it's psychological, right? We do it to
Yeah.
ourselves, and it
Yeah.
makes it worse because you can see the mirror image of yourself. So while
Yeah.
you're in this meeting, you're looking at yourself in this meeting, and you're critiquing yourself the whole time.
Oh gosh. We are way too critical of ourselves. My goodness. Like,
That
I
is
just look at it and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you
One
get
of
what
the
you get.
lessons
This is me.
one of the lessons I took out of the last few years was to turn that box off. So I'm looking at everybody else, but I just look at myself.
Good.
And then I just
That's awesome. I didn't even know that was a possibility. I didn't know that you could turn yourself off.
Teams it is. I don't know if it is on Zoom.
Gotcha.
We use Teams.
Okay. Yeah.
Not me. I just use this.
Right.
I try to stay over
And
on
it
the
works.
side.
And it works. Like, you can't see me.
But yeah, that's funny. I never thought of that before, but I do when I have to go in and make sure it's all uploading and stuff like that. I'll be like, ooh, why didn't I comb my hair? Dang it! Think of that stuff before you get on camera, Rachel.
Right. Right. Oh,
When
you're always
started,
gonna find that stuff. Yeah.
during COVID, when my company went to Zoom meetings and like we would be on these huge meetings with hundreds of people, and I would just be like, and my friend would text me or ping me and be like, "You look like a statue. Move your eyeballs."
I could that would be that's awkward. I speaking of that, it's not we weren't on camera, but starting with doing podcasts in general, like interviewing people for podcasts, I am not the type to, or I wasn't the type to come on and just do a podcast like about myself, or would just talk to the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
I needed like a person. I always need somebody else with me. I can't do anything by myself. But so my first interview person was my yoga teacher. And I was listening to it today. I just put it up on Spotify too. Brought it back from the vault. But I can't believe the difference between like that interview and now, and how I still feel awkward and stuff, but how much it changes, which I'm sure like with performing too, do you still get nervous even though once you get going you're okay, but like at first you're like, oh.
100%. 100%. Um, and it's one thing when you have a scene partner or when you have 50 people on stage with you at the same time. And it's a completely other thing when you are the only person on stage and all eyes are on you. Like when you can split that energy up between other people, kind of similar to having an interview partner. When you can bounce off of each other and you can play with that energy, it's so much easier, and it's so much easier to settle into that space and relax into that space than if you're by yourself and you're like, I have to create all of this energy. I have to create a scene that is entertaining and energetic enough for people to stay focused and interested and engaged, or else they're going to get bored and maybe walk out. And it's wild. And, thinking back on like how performances have gone over the years, like you look back and you're like, wow, why did I make that decision? Or like, you know what you know now, and you think like, why did I say that? That did not make sense at all. Um, we're constantly critiquing ourselves based off of what we know now. Not, oh, I knew only this much then. So.
Well, and some of it's less about what you know and just more about practice and having the opportunity to do it over and over and over again.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So we were talking about that earlier, the lived experience piece of it.
Yeah. And yes, teaching yoga was never I wasn't going to teach. And then once I got to the end of teacher training, I couldn't even introduce myself in front of more than 3 people without having like anxiety, which now I know is anxiety, but I felt like I was going to faint or
say, right. Was anxiety at the time?
No.
What did you think it was?
That I was just nervous.
Yeah.
But I mean, similar, but it was, it was a little bit more, where like you start to like not hear as well. Like definitely
you like black out. You like mentally you kind of have a blackout moment. That used to be me on stage all the time. And I still talk about it. Like during Be Our Guest, when I stood up on the table both times, that's the scariest moment of the entire show for me. The scariest moment. And I'm all of 3.5 feet off of the ground, right? Like if I fall, I'm not going to fall far at all. But having that extra elevation gives me so much more anxiety. And like I just watched The Heathers, if you know that show or that movie. It's the musical based off of the movie. Absolutely phenomenal, raunchy as hell, but so wonderful. But there's a scene where Martha, Veronica's friend, is singing. It's basically her I'm gonna unalive myself song. And she was up on a 2-story platform. There were no guardrails. There was nothing. It was just her standing up there by herself on stage. So you take into I have to create a scene that's got enough energy to carry this entire number. It's a 4-minute music number or song that she sings. And then on top of that, I'm 2 stories in the air. Like the anxiety with that is insane. I was like, I can't imagine. I would faint. I would fall flat onto the ground if I did that.
So where did you watch the musical?
It was my friend was doing it, or she was in the ensemble. It was at Mad Artists Entertainment was the company, and they performed it at the Art Place in Marietta.
Very
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Yeah,
We
it
have
was.
all this culture around us, and we're not partaking.
I know.
Atlanta
Well,
has so much theater. It's kind of freaky. There's so much around. But once
yeah.
and
When
once
I
you once
was
you
single and in my
go ahead.
when I was single in my 20s, I had a best friend at work, and we would do culture night once a quarter. And we bought tickets to the local community playhouse. And so once a quarter we would go to a show. And it was the funnest time. Like, I don't know why. I haven't recreated that since we moved here.
well, now we might
It's
have
We
around.
to.
might have to, but
Yeah.
I'm bummed I missed others.
It's hey, you know what? It'll I'm sure they were talking about doing a reunion. So sometime in the next 6 months, be on the lookout.
So let us know.
So yeah.
If
And
we
also
are in,
Heather's is coming back to Broadway in 2025. So
I
Oh,
will.
wow.
maybe you just need a trip up to New York.
That would be awesome.
That's where That's where my grandma took me to go see shows.
Nice.
Because you
What's
were
your favorite
in
show?
Connecticut?
Favorite show, probably. I don't know if you're gonna laugh at me.
No, I will
I'm
not.
ready.
Peter Pan
Aw.
with Sandy Duncan.
No
Yes, I'm that
way.
old.
That's so awesome. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I remember watching the movie.
Oh, she came
Yep.
flying out the little string, and she came flying out into the
Over
above the audience and back, and I was like, "Whoa."
Gosh.
I was young, so I was
Yeah.
like,
That's so
it was
cool
so
that you got to see it live though. That's so awesome.
it was fun.
Yeah.
And the other one, I forget what else we saw. We saw Mamma Mia, and then I saw a bunch of weird stuff, like the one. What was it? I'm not going to remember the name of it. Where it took place during the Prohibition. I forget. It was my aunt started taking me,
Mhm.
and then
I don't
then
know.
it
Went
got
off
crazy.
Broadway.
Yeah.
Then we were going down the side street. But
It may
but
not
it
have
was fun.
lasted very long. That's
Favorite New
awesome.
York Broadway was the producers.
Ooh,
But
that's a fun
me
one.
and the same friend from the community theater went to New York and went off Broadway and saw the puppetry of the penis. And
Oh.
it was these two men on, it was a theater in the round, and they made like balloon animals out of their penises. And so it was like an hour and a half of them just like turning their little things into something.
Really?
What?
Yep.
What?
And it was entertaining the whole time.
It was entertaining the whole time.
Holy cow.
That's cool.
Anything can be art. Anything can be art.
Anything could be art.
Now I'm going to have to look that up on YouTube.
Right?
Hilarious.
I'm gonna
All
write
right.
that down.
We have one last question before we get into the trivia,
Yes.
which is the fun question. So you get to
Yes.
do these fun things
Yes.
for a living.
I do.
What do you do
For fun.
For fun.
for fun? Fun. For like off work fun.
For my off fun. Okay, so I like the usual stuff, right? Like I love hiking. Being outside is one of my favorite things. And it's getting that time. It's so exciting.
Yes.
But I will hike literally any weather. It does not matter. I will go and be on a mountain. I play piano. I've played for 20 years. I currently do not have access to a piano, but the love of it is still there. I do art. Currently I'm in my just line drawing phase. But I love watercolors. I love acrylics. So painting and drawing is my jam. And then cooking. And now that it's getting to be fall, it's time for pumpkin patches and haunted houses and corn mazes. And so excited about that. So excited. So yes.
I love that.
So what's your favorite meal that you've made recently?
Oh my goodness. Recently, what have I made? I make this like super simple. It's so easy. It's chicken, broccoli, and rice. Um, but you cook the chicken and then you saute onions and throw in some sun-dried tomatoes. It's literally so simple. And then just mix it all together. Mix all of it together. I separate the rice so that I can like portion out my carbs. You want the recipe? I'll send it to you. It's so
Absolutely.
simple. It's so simple. You have to like, I'll send you the like basic recipe and then you gotta doctor it up a little bit because I like to go heavy with my seasonings. Um, yeah, and then top it off with some Parmesan cheese because cheese makes everything better, and it's
Yes.
so good, so good, so
Have
simple.
you heard
Yeah.
of bitchin sauce?
No, where do you get
So
that?
I get a Korean chef. They send me a box every week, and this week
Okay,
they put a little prize in the box, and it's this prepackaged. The company is bitchin sauce, and it's
okay.
like an base sauce with a chipotle flavor, and I just kind of drizzled it
Ooh,
with quinoa, and it was so good.
oh my God. Okay, writing that down. Where can you buy it? Like, I'm gonna assume you can buy it on like Amazon or something, but like, is
I'm
there anywhere?
assuming you can do it on Amazon. I'm hoping I can get it from Kroger or Ingles.
Okay,
So that
okay.
now it's on the list. Like this is what they do, right? They get you addicted to the crack, and then now I have to find it.
Now you have to
That'll
find
get her.
Ah.
And I'm sure they sent you like this much. They're like, you get like just a taste, and then
They always, well,
yeah.
it sounds like you had a
Yeah,
big, but
yeah, I got a good
yeah,
size.
those little
Oh,
mini
okay.
ketchup or whatever
Oh my
crack me up. They're
gosh.
like, why don't you just put it in one of
Like,
those
what is
tinfoil things?
this?
You like make a bottle that big? Like, who does that?
Right,
Just
right.
a
That's
lot of work.
ridiculous. I know somebody that used to walk around with a tiny bottle of Tabasco sauce, and she would keep it in her beanie.
No,
Uh-huh.
that's a good idea.
Yeah. So anytime she went
Because
out to eat, she just yeah.
now Tabasco sauce, that's a good idea because
Right?
you just need a few little
Just a bit,
dots
just a
across your.
dab. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't need
So
much.
she probably
yeah.
has a case of those things at home.
Probably, probably.
All right, are you ready?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I bet you're
Ready
gonna
as I'll
nail
ever
it.
be. I hope so.
Want to go first? You want me to go first? You have the beginning
Okay,
questions.
I'll go first.
I got the later ones.
So, what does the old woman in the prologue want in exchange for the rose?
Helper.
That is correct.
Yay.
Good job.
Woo! 1 for 1.
I don't have a prize for you, but
Oh, that's fine.
I'll
That's
give you a
fine.
hug next time I see you. How about
This is the prize.
that? All right.
Yeah, I love it.
Time together.
All right. What is Gaston especially good at? He mentions it in a song.
He is especially good at expectorating.
Wow.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. When the beast is watching Belle play in the snow with the dog, he says he wants to do something for her. Cogsworth then says, well, there's the usual things, flowers, a box of chocolates. What was the very last
Promises
thing he
you
suggested?
don't intend to keep. Promises you don't intend to keep.
I remember that from the play. Let's see. When the beast takes Belle into the library, what creature is on both sides of the inside of the door? I don't know if that was in the play or not, so no pressure.
It wasn't, but it's lions.
That's right. You got it.
In the beginning of the movie, how is the prince described?
He was selfish, spoiled. Oh, I can't think of the third one. That's all I got.
I'm giving it to you. Yeah,
That was perfect.
spoiled, selfish, and unkind.
That's it. Yes, unkind.
All right. I guess I have all the Gaston ones. When Gaston
Nice.
is following Belle around at the beginning of the play, what does he take from her?
Her book. How can you
Yep.
read these? There's no pictures in
That's funny.
them.
What did the old woman offer the prince in return for shelter for the night?
A single.
All right. This is going to be an easy one for you.
Okay.
What is the clock's name?
Oh, I thought there was a part two. Cogsworth.
What's his name?
Cogsworth. Yes.
I'm like, you hung out with him a lot.
I did. I had a lot of time with Cogsworth. He's very annoying.
All right, this is a thing. You have to like use your critical reasoning. In the opening song, Belle, how many times do you hear the word bonjour?
I've
Oh my God.
so I was on my off nights when I wasn't Lumiere. I was in the ensemble and I was the fifth bonjour. I was the baker.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
That's awesome.
All right. Also in they call them the bimbettes, I guess.
The silly
when they're
girls.
singing the song about the what?
The silly girls. Yeah.
Yes. He's such a tall, blank, strong, and handsome brute.
Tall. Dark. Yes.
Tall, dark, and handsome. That's a whole
Tall, dark,
right?
and
Isn't that
handsome.
a thing?
And I'm
Oh, you're done. Okay, so the finale. Oh, this was a good. I did love this part. When the Beast is told that Belle won't join him for dinner, what does he say?
If she doesn't eat with me, she doesn't eat at all. She doesn't. Is that?
She can starve. Yeah.
Ah, she can
That is-
starve. Ah, dang it. Okay.
Same
That's
thing,
true.
right?
We're giving you.
Yes.
Aw,
got 'em all.
thanks.
Hey, you get a free vacation. You sleep.
In my dreams, yay. I can't wait. Ah,
All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Really.
you.
Before we get off, before we let go, this
Yeah.
has been so much fun. I think we should go to a show.
let's do
Yes.
it. Yeah.
You should.
I
One
am
and go.
I am going to see 9 to 5 on Saturday at 3:00 at the
God,
Eagle
sir.
Theater, at the Eagle Theater in Sugar Hill.
Oh.
So if you
Uh-huh.
fancy a little Dolly Parton in your life, I'll
I
be
love
there.
Do
Yeah,
you
me
have to
too.
keep your mouth shut when you're in the audience?
You could just do the little nail clap at the beginning.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Yes,
so much for
absolutely.
coming.
Thank
And
you so much for having me.
It was
I will
great to see you again.
Yeah.
Yes, likewise. All
So
right.
I don't know, you didn't hear us when we did our intro, but I think you need to know this. We were kind of talking about like, how'd you meet Joey? Why, like, what's interesting about him? Why are we bringing him on the podcast? And Rachel described you as a warm hug. And I thought that was so nice. You're absolutely
Oh my
right.
gosh.
Thank you.
Like Olaf.
I mean, I don't know you that well, but just from that, you feel
Oh,
welcome and safe when.
that is what
You're
I
around.
strive to be for people. So yes, thank you. That makes my heart so
Well-
happy.
It's great
Well,
to
it's
see
true.
you.
Yes, y'all too.
All right, well, it's going to take me a half hour to get off of here because it
Bye,
always
listener.
does.
All
So,
right.
Peace out.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
See you. He knows how to do it.
Yeah, he was out.